It's Jay here, Conversations with Jay. I give it to you straight, no chase. I don't know how to fake. It's not in my DNA. We're going to be using a lot of the things that we're learning from this Sean Puffy Combs trial, the Diddy trial, however you guys know about it. We're going to be using a lot of the things that we're learning here through this trial to teach you guys how to research the law for yourself. As most of you guys understand, this was developed as a leadership channel. This was all about leadership to begin with. We wanted to teach people to be not free thinkers, because to me, free thinkers is you could be blown by the wind in any direction. And I always say, be careful when you follow the masses because the M is silent. And this channel here is to prevent you from just falling into, oh, I'm going to follow the masses, or I'm just going to be blown in the wind as a free thinker. I want you to be an intentional thinker, and I want more people to be intentional thinkers. And that's what leaders are. I want you guys to be thought leaders. In this case, with this trial, there's a lot of people who are exposing themselves, to be honest with you, by just following whoever says what, following whatever narrative, and they're not doing their own research. And a lot of people are acting on emotion. I don't do that. Let's get into it. So one of the big things that a lot of these, I would say, mainstream media outlets have been talking about is bribery. And I know that bribery is something that a lot of people don't understand. So I brought C and V, or V and C. C's here and V is here. And they have some questions about bribery that I think that you guys would probably have as well, or maybe want to push back on. So who wants to ask me a question about bribery? Because it is very important, and we're going to go through the statute, but it is very important.
I've been seeing a lot of people bring this up, and it is also mentioned in the case that he did pay off the security to get the tape, and that was a strong element of bribery. What do you think about that?
I feel like people don't know what bribery is, but I can go through the statute in a second. V, did you hear the same stuff? Is that also what you've been hearing in the mainstream media?
Yeah, of course. They just keep playing the video all over the internet.
And they're playing that video, and then they're saying he bought the tape for $100,000 and stuff like that. I got you. So as you can see, let's get technical now, okay? Bribery is 18 U.S. Code 201, bribery of public officials and witnesses. Now, this would be witnesses, okay? You can't just bribe anybody. They either have to be a witness or a public official, okay? So I'm going to read it really quickly. Again, if you watch our previous video, this is so you guys can understand the law. And so you guys, this is not about the Sean Puffy Combs trial. This is more about so you can understand that you can research the law yourself, and you can have nobody try to belittle you into thinking, oh, well, you're not a lawyer, so you don't know, okay? So let's just read it. The term public official means member of Congress, delegate, or resident commissioner, either. And if you keep reading, it also goes to police officers. It also would go to a juror. It would go to an agency of a particular department. It defines it here. Okay. Number two, the term person who has been selected to be a public official. You guys can see it there. And then it also says the official act means any decision or actions or any question, matter, cause, suit, proceeding, or controversy, which may at time be pending. So basically, guys, the act, which would be in this particular situation, the act is Diddy assaulting Cassie. Nobody under the security team was a public official. Now, if you were in the trial like I was, if you were in the courtroom like I was, the defense attorney said, were you a police officer when you accepted the money? Eddie Garcia said no. He said, are you a police officer now? Eddie Garcia said no. He was not a public official. Neither was Israel, and neither was the supervisor. Israel, for you guys who don't know who that is, that was the person who first got the complaint because they were making a scene and yelling and screaming and whatever in that hotel incident. If you saw the new video that's a lot longer than the original video that you saw, you can see him in the camera. I'm not going to get into all of the testimony. We'll do that when we go through the testimony of Eddie Garcia. But what I'm trying to explain to you guys is that guy is now an LAPD officer. So a lot of people are confusing it, thinking that he was an LAPD officer at the time investigating it. He was not an LAPD officer at the time investigating it. He was just working security. He's an LAPD officer now. So between him, Eddie, and the supervisor, don't remember his name, none of them were elected officials. None of them were officers of the law or anything like that. You guys can screenshot this and you guys can see it for yourself, or just go on to Cornell Law School. I'm getting this directly from the internet. All right. So they're not public officials. The next thing is it hindering an actual criminal investigation or any sort of police investigation at all? The reason why it's not is because there was no police investigation. There was no criminal investigation. The cops were not called. The police were not called. Even to this day, the police did not investigate that particular situation. But the point is, even to the point that they gave the money to Eddie Garcia, Garcia did not accept the money without saying, hey, what if there's a police report that's filed? And for those of you guys who weren't at the trial, actually, Sean Combs got Cassie on the phone after telling Eddie there will be no police report filed because she doesn't want to file the police report because she doesn't want to get this out, and I don't want to get this out. So there was no police report ever filed, and this was not a public official. Therefore, this is not bribery. This is buying a tape from somebody because you're trying to protect your own public image. This is buying a tape for somebody. This is not a predicate act, because the reason why bribery is big is because it's a RICO predicate act. And you have to prove 2 RICO predicate acts as one of the elements of RICO. One of the elements of RICO. That's not the only element of RICO. You have to prove 2 predicate acts within a 10-year span. But this is not a proven element because it's not bribery, because he was not a public official. And also, there was no investigation, no police investigation, criminal investigation, anything like that. Now, I was challenged by a lawyer that is in the courtroom that I've seen many times. Her name is Simone. And she said, well, it is interfering with the police investigation because Cassie had a statute of limitations in which she could have filed charges or filed a police report in regards to this particular situation. And he bought the tape from the hotel before she was able to do that. So he would have been interfering with a criminal investigation, a future one, or a hypothetical police investigation. But because he destroyed the tape, then they wouldn't have been able to have the tape for evidence. So C and V, what do you say to that?
I mean, was it proven that he actually destroyed the tape?
Boom. Smart guy. There's no proof that he destroyed the tape. For all we know, the tape came from him. Knowing how this stuff works, I've not been in these type of entertainment crowds or in that industry, but I have been deep into the business industry. If I got a tape like that, I would have never destroyed it. I would have just gave it to my lawyer. My lawyer would have kept that for me because my lawyer cannot actually give that tape to anybody because my lawyer and I have attorney and client privilege. So my guess is that that tape is with the lawyer. Now, there are instances in which that attorney and client privilege can be broken. There are instances, don't get me wrong, but to me, that tape still exists. And obviously a tape still exists because we saw a tape, an actual tape, not the one that Israel was recording from his cell phone. So my point that I'm making is there's no proof that that tape actually was destroyed. And Sean Combs is a very intelligent businessman. I think he goes to his lawyers for everything. And I think the lawyers probably advised him, you can buy the tape, but don't destroy it. You can't destroy it because if you do, then you're actually interfering with a criminal investigation or hindering a criminal investigation, and they can catch you on that. Now, as far as tampering with witnesses or anything like that, people say, but he bought the tape, and then that witness, Eddie Garcia, he was told that he signed an NDA and he can't go and tell anybody about him buying the tape. No, 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 no. Again, if you were in the courtroom like I was, you'll see that the defense attorneys highlighted a part of the contract of the NDA that said exclusions. It clearly stated that they were able to give this information of selling the tape to him to the authorities. If it was interfering with a legal investigation, they were free to give that information. Now, was there a clause that said, you got to let us know first? Yes, there was. Is that probably improper? It's not illegal, but it's improper in the way that that contract is written. It's probably improper, but it doesn't negate the fact that he could have went to the police at any time. And if the police had any questions for him, he could have answered those questions at any time. And that's the reason why the defense attorneys highlighted that part of the contract saying, hey, these are the exclusions. So again, bribery of public officials and witnesses. This was not that. But if you are going onto these mainstream media pages, they will twist your mind. Look it up for yourself and be a forward thinker, be a thought leader. Don't just follow the masses because the M is silent. All right, guys, like, share, subscribe. Please share. Honestly, I don't care if you like or subscribe. I really don't at this point. It's a brand new channel. Likes are great. Subscribes are great, but that's more like for you if you actually feel like you want to support me with liking or subscribing. But sharing is not supporting me. Sharing is supporting the person that you share it to. So I would ask you to share it to anybody that you want to enlighten so that they understand what this thing is all about. And again, this is a leadership channel. We're only using this trial and this case to kick off the understanding of thinking for yourself and being a thought leader and not following people. I appreciate all of you guys. Go and be great.